Good afternoon. A big thank you to the Blue Ribbon Movement. I met Abhishek just by chance when he contacted us at Agni. So thank you for calling me and letting me speak today, more than speak today, letting me share my thoughts with you and my experiences with you. It was very interesting listening to Mr. Vivek Asrani talk about moral rearmament. It brought back a lot of memories. In 1964, I think that was before he was even born, I was all of 16 years old and Mr. Rajmohan Gandhi had come to Elphinstone College asking young people like you to bring about a change. And my first public speech was at the Chowpatty seashore, where there were hundreds of people present. I don't think I've ever had more confidence than I did, which is what Mr. Rajmohan Gandhi gave us. And I spoke at that time. My mother and father were petrified that I would make a mess of it, but he kept saying, you will do it, just stand there and do it. So it really brought back absolutely beautiful memories. The Panchganis talking off in 64, April, May, we were the ones who went with pickaxes and dug that MRA beautiful institution that exists at this time. So thank you, Mr. Asrani, for bringing back memories. I, for one, don't belong to the Facebook generation. I preferred it to be a face-to-face interaction, which is what we are going to do today, and talk about the leadership that Mumbai needs. There are leaders in various walks of life. You can be a leader in your profession. I think the one I admire the most in this is Mr. Narayan Murthy of Infosys, who I believe has done a fantastic job as far as their CSR or corporate social responsibility is concerned. Or you can be a leader in your own social life, or you can be a leader in the civic life of Mumbai. But then why am I saying or? It should be and. Because all this is going to be part of your life as you go out into the world. You will be a professional, you will be in your social life, and you will contribute also towards the upliftment of Mumbai because it's your city and that is what makes you a leader. I think the words of Mahatma Gandhi have probably had a deep impact on me while I was growing up, when he said that if you want to see a change in the world, you must be that change. And the other thing is what my father told me. Like I said, you know, when I was 16 years old and speaking, but as I was growing up, he told me, he said, you know, Shama, you are born in this world bringing nothing with you. You leave this world taking nothing with you. What is the time spent between, and the way you spend that time is the most important thing, and that is your choice. How you spend it, and that is what will remain with the people who are left behind. And I think that both these things have had a deep impact on my life. I have addressed a lot of college students. I've addressed students from IIT and IT, etc. And very often they say, you know, ma'am, we are so busy with so many things. I mean, sometimes how can we think of the civic life of Mumbai and whatever? I said, fine. At this stage, you're what? 17, 18 plus up to 20. Your life revolves around, am I studying enough? Am I going to get a proper job after I finish college? Can I party this weekend? Will I have enough pocket money set aside? Am I wearing the latest fashionable clothes, or should I go to the mall next time to get something else? That's where your life revolves, okay? Let's take a fast forward 10 years from now. All of you will have jobs. Many of you might be married. Some of you might be even parents. And then your whole perspective changes. Then you will start asking questions like, why is the public transport system in Mumbai so bad? Why are malls coming up when there should be more open spaces and gardens? Why are they overflowing gutters? Why are there hawkers on the pavement when I should be walking on the pavement and not on the road? So don't you think, even though you are young and even though your life revolves around studying and partying or whatever it is, you could empower yourself even now and bring about a change which makes you the kind of leader that Mumbai is looking for. Now, as a trustee of Agni, as he introduced me, we have had a lot of projects to create political awareness, especially among the youth. So I would like to share with you some of the things that we have done. so that together we can work out these problems. In 2009, the Election Commission decided to open up the voter registration. Like I said, when I had been addressing a lot of college students and I said, have you registered yourself? You're 18 plus, have you registered yourself? No, ma'am, such a tedious process. Who's going to go to that election office, stand in line, come at 11 o'clock, he doesn't come till 1 o'clock, one lamba radgand he gave me, the students gave me. So I said, they're right. So I decided, spoke to a couple of the other trustees, and we went and met the Chief Election Commissioner, Mr. Debashis Chakravarti, a very different kind of bureaucrat who can think outside the box, because most bureaucrats, they wear blinkers, okay? So I told him, I said, sir, when anybody is taking admission any student is taking admission into senior college, there are two things that he has to produce. One is date of birth proof and proof of his residence, which is exactly what the Election Commission wants to fill up Form 6. So, can we not go to the college with these forms, show the students how to fill it up, collect it and give it to the respective collector's office, etc. He thought it was a brilliant idea. He said, okay, I will write the letter to the college principals giving permission, so that they give permission for your team to come inside. And this is what he did. And it was more than 15,000. It was almost 25,000 college students who got registered during that time. It was absolutely thanks to Mr. Debashis Chakravarti, who used this to make students realize. And that's when, you know, most people of my generation are very cynical about your generation. They are only self-centered, they're only selfish, they don't think beyond themselves and so on and so forth. I don't believe that. I believe if I channelize your energy correctly, you can do fantastic stuff. So here we had these students who registered themselves, they got their voter cards, had good discussions on who they should vote for. I remember at a couple of colleges, Sanjay Dutt was standing for elections on the Samajwadi ticket. I said, okay, you guys think he's Mr. Macho Man, will you vote for him? And I thought they say, especially the girls, would say, yes, 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 definitely vote for him. They knew that there were cases against him. They knew what had happened during the bomb blast. So they said, no, Macho Man or no Macho Man, we are not voting for him. Which made me realize that an 18, 19-year-old sometimes has better sense than a 60-year-old. Because he's looking at things if you guide him in the right direction. Okay, so this Agni initiative, like I put it very well, you know, you can take a horse to the water or you can take the water to the horse. So we brought the water to the horse and made the horse drink the water and register themselves as you're drinking water at the same time. I didn't mean that. This thing, which was an Agni initiative, I think has been done definitely first time in Mumbai. I wouldn't be surprised if it's been done first time in India also. Please remember, after 2008 attacks, we lit a lot of candles, we went on a lot of processions, we did all kinds of things. But immediately after that, when it was time to vote, we forgot about it. We didn't come down to vote, okay? So let us always remember that we are not part of a spectator democracy. We have to be part of a participatory democracy. You cannot sit back on your chair, I tell this to most adults, with a beer glass in your hand and a TV set in front of you and curse the system. And don't even exercise your fundamental right to vote. You have no right to grumble if you're not going to do anything. Just shut up. So, I feel that voter awareness or creating voter awareness, when this happens, a lot of people tell me, but who to vote for? I mean, look at this. This guy is a crook. This guy is a rascal. This guy is a rogue. I don't know who to vote for. It's better I don't go and vote at all. There is a saying that says, you must vote for the man you hate the least, but vote you must. You understand what I'm trying to say? I'm not telling you to love that guy. I'm telling you to go down and vote for the man. And it's become much easier now because as per the High Court directions, when you fill in your nomination forms, and this is what they're doing right now, they also have to put in an affidavit, which they have to sign, almost like taking an oath that they're telling the truth, which shows their educational background or their educational qualifications, whether they have a criminal record at all, what are their assets, what is their source of income, and so on and so forth. So very often if the source of income does not match the assets, you straight away know that the man is making money in some other way. So be the informed voter, and if you are an informed voter, it is much easier to vote. Then you vote for the least of the crooks or the least of the rogues, but at least you go down and exercise your right to vote. Now, what Agni also does, and which in fact the first of the meetings is happening on the 5th of February in Bandra at St. Teresa's School, we are having what is known as a Meet Your Candidate meeting. We invite, suppose we have 227 wards, as you know, across the city. We pick out some of them which has got very strong activists and a strong strength of people, and we invite the candidates who are standing for election. Say 96, which is my ward, there might be 10 people, BJP, the independent ones, Congress, MNS, etc., etc. 95, which I call my Khichdi ward because it's the only open ward and it's got everybody and his uncle standing for elections from that place. They will all come. They will all talk for 5 minutes about what is their vision for their ward, what is the problem in their ward which they hope to solve. And then there will be a question-ask session, at the end of which there is a charter of demands made by the citizens of that area, which they have to sign. They can't sign and forget and go away. Sorry. One of them gets elected. What we did last time was, in the H West ward, which is one of the most citizen activist friendly wards, I would call it, had a Meet Your Corporator meeting. We have 6 wards. So 1 year post the elections, we had a Meet Your Corporator wards when they were reminded about the charter of demands that they had signed, and asked them, have you done A, B, C, D, which you promised to do? If you haven't, why not? Or did you not mean what you were saying? And then a rating system was given to them, which upset, of course, many of them, but too bad. That was reality and they had to face it. So this is, like I said, some of the activities that I have been doing at Agni level. That is, first meet your corporator, then meet your candidate. Also, what we don't realize, most of us, is we don't know enough about the city. We don't know how much money Mumbai gives to the national exchequer. Does anybody know? In the form of direct and indirect taxes. How much do we send to the kitty in Delhi? I thought it was 50. That's a lot. I thought it was 50,000 crores approximately. Yeah. How much comes back to us? 2%. 2%. Okay? And I in Bandra feel very angry because the Bandra division pays the largest taxes in Mumbai, and you still treat me like a stepchild. Where are my taxes going? I want to know, it's my money. I want to know where my taxes are being used. I will tell you as I go forward how we have been able to share this and demand these kind of explanations from people. So I always say that when your corporator or your MLA or your MP comes to you and says, vote for me and I will work for you, you tell him, no, work for us and then we will vote for you. It should not be either way. What's the 5 for? 5 minutes more? Okay, sorry. Okay, now post the 2005 floods, as he told you about, we did organize a Mithi March where hundreds of people walked from 20 different NGOs on the 2nd of October, led by a Gandhiji lookalike, like a Dandi March on his birthday. We saw to it that the collector, though it was a public holiday, had to open his office and listen to us, followed by a meeting with the Chief Minister, followed by the desilting and cleaning and widening of the Mithi River, and the installation of the Brimstoward project in certain parts of Mumbai. Now, what is this Brimstoward? Are you aware? It's widening your drains so that flooding doesn't take place. There was one fantastic bureaucrat who, when this proposal was put to him post the floods, he said, "Ye kya hai? Itna paisa dalenga, ye to gutter mein chala jayega paisa." Literally gutter mein chala jayega. So he didn't sanction that proposal and we had the floods. That bureaucrat, according to me, should have been suspended. Jailed. Even better. Because this kind of, not looking into the future or not having a vision for Mumbai, but only looking pani gutter mein jayega, happens. Now, I'll give you a quick experience. My road, Perry Road, big road, arterial road, buses run on the road. Our payments were in a bad state. In 2000, before the floods, we had approached the local ward officer, "Sir, please do our payments up." He said, "Okay." Then he comes to me, he said, "Madam, we are going to implement the Brimstoward project in your road. So something that would have taken 6 weeks will now take 6 to 9 months. Are you prepared for it?" But it means not only no flooding on your road, but no flooding on the 10 roads which run perpendicular to your road. You have to work within a system. You have to work for other people also. Each and every bit of that was supervised by even young people living on our road. Checking, are they doing it properly? Have the utilities been put in the right direction? Today, we've not had floods since 2005 in that entire area, and the gutter is so big a 3-year-old child can walk through it. Otherwise, it was a 9-inch diameter drain, okay? When the caretaker policy was being discussed, like he said, we had street plays on our 2 promenades. How many of you come to the Bandra promenades? How many of you walked in the Bandra promenades? Are you aware how we did it in, Carter Road? There was a huge big storm in the early 90s and a ship ran aground, and the Maharashtra government wanted to convert that ship into a floating hotel, if you please, right in the middle of residential area. Rubbish, nothing. Went to court, won the case. The ship was taken away. Got funds from Shabana Azmi, who was at that time the Rajya Sabha member. And we have 2 beautiful promenades maintained by the citizens of Bandra. But money comes in from the corporation also, okay? So to prove to you that open spaces can be protected by us also. Then let me share with you, you talked about leadership at different levels. Is it possible to do it? We have a little fishing village in Bandra called Chimbai. Suddenly they found a big board which had come up from the PWD department saying, we are going to build a wall. Now it's a bay. You build a wall across that bay during the monsoons when the fisherfolk come to put their boats on the sand. How can they get in if the wall is going to block it? So they, came running to many of us who run ALMs and said, what do we do, etc. Those women in their 9 yards kashta saris jumped onto the bulldozer and stopped that bulldozer from coming onto the beach. I'm talking about how circumstances makes a leader. They didn't think that, it could come over us, but they stopped it. So we took this forward, met different people, finally ended up in front of the Urban Development Secretary in a long corridor, a long room with a big table. He was on one side, I was on the other side, a lot of people. We had old, beautiful photographs showing the tide situation, which is much more realistic than what they have taken pictures of now, because it was done by the local people. This bureaucrat throws the photographs back at me and says, who are you to question me on the way the government is spending money? I said, excuse me, sir, it's my money and his money and her money, and hopefully if you pay taxes, also your money, please, also your money, right? I'm very happy to tell you this is the same bureaucrat who has been arrested in the other scam case, Mr. Ramanand Tiwari. So what I'm saying is, again, it produced a whole lot of reaction from people. Then I want to share with you what happened on Hill Road. Road widening process of Hill Road. In the process of widening Hill Road, they were going to go over 2 heritage sites, St. Andrew's Church and Peter's Church, over graves where 17 generations of people have been buried. You can't put a bulldozer. This is not Shanghai. This is Mumbai, okay? Into a Parsi Agyari and the grounds of St. Stanislaus. So we decided, we would have a meeting. We met some of them. They said, no, don't worry. And they told the old Parsi ladies, please don't worry, madam, we will help you out, etc., etc. So we thought, fine, everything is going to be okay. On the 24th of November, 2006, one notice is put up on the Parsi Agyari, 48 hours notice, the bulldozer is coming after all the promises, okay? So we said, by phone calls, etc., let us meet. I went across to the police station. I said, sir, we need permissions. He said, how many people are you expecting? I said, maybe 200. If you want loudspeaker, microphone, you have to go to Crawford Market. I said, no, who's going to do that? My voice is loud enough. Don't worry, 200 people chalega. How many people do you think came for that meeting? 1,500. Of every religion, we had Muslims, Hindus, Parsis. The politicians can't divide us, okay? Muslims, Hindus, Parsis, everybody, Christians, everybody. Every shopkeeper on Hill Road shut his shop. He didn't want business at that time. Huge morchas were taken out. People could not believe it. And there was this 90-year-old Parsi lady bent double, and she's telling me, where is that Ghati Dikra? She called me the Ghati Dikra. Very, very happy, very emotional. Then we went to meet Mr. Johnny Joseph, who was the municipal commissioner at that time, saying, we are not going to allow this to happen. So he tells me, and of course we didn't allow a single politician to come with us. They were just dying to jump because they love numbers, and the larger the number, the more thrilled they were. So when Mr. Johnny Joseph told me, he said, madam, you are talking about, stalling Hill Road widening. We wanted to do it in 1977. I said, sir, every site I am protecting or my friends are protecting is pre-1977. Every site you gave permission for is post-1977. Why did you give permission for new buildings to come up when you wanted to widen the road? He had no answer, and therefore the widening of Hill Road has been stopped. So that was another big victory. Again, leadership victory of the people of that area, okay? I've always believed, therefore, that leaders are not born. It is circumstances that create a leader. So if there is anything that you see around you, don't shut up. Speak out. Speak out against anything that is wrong. Because always remember that power breeds fear. And the more powerful they are, the more afraid you will become. Don't allow them to become powerful, then whether it's a politician or anybody else. And like Mr. Asrani said, he's wearing Anna Hazare's cap. Just wearing a cap is not enough. Do a lot of introspection. Figure out, am I not equally responsible for the corruption in this society? The man who gives the bribe is as responsible as the man who takes the bribe. All of us think that I can commit a mistake or do something wrong as long as I don't get caught. That's exactly what the school student does. I can cheat in an exam as long as I don't get caught. I live in a street which is one way, and there's a school at the end of it. So there was this father driving down with 3 children at the back, and I stopped him. I said, you know, this is a one-way street. He said, so there's no policeman there. I said, I'm there. Get right. Go across. You're breaking a law. I said, not only are you a lawbreaker, you're a bad parent. He said, what do you mean by calling me a bad parent? I said, what kind of a role model are you for those 3 kids at the back? That it's okay to break the law because there's no policeman there to break it or to catch me for it, okay? I always feel that this is payback time for Mumbai. Mumbai is like a company in which we are all shareholders. We are all stakeholders in this company. If you want Mumbai to succeed, then you have to protect your shares, right? Like any share market guy would do, okay? And therefore, if we unite together, we can make this into a first-class city. All of us, I will conclude by saying this, all of us have 3 choices before us. First, to keep quiet. But always remember that bad things happen when good people keep quiet. Number 2, to keep criticizing and not doing anything. Like I said, the guy who sits with the beer bottle and sits in front of the TV. And third, to get involved and act on it. I will conclude with the words of the poet Robert Frost, who described this choice beautifully when he said, and I quote, 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that made all the difference, and that made all the difference. You decide which road you're going to take, okay? Thank you.